everyone. My name is Lonnie. I am Lady Braven of the Pride, and I am passionate about inspiring, encouraging, and empowering people to believe in themselves and to love themselves and to stand up for their beliefs and what they know is true and right in this world. And today I have a very dear friend and special guest. She is not one of the authors in my book, but maybe in the future she will be. I really thought it was important to have this courageous conversation with her today. Her name is Mimi Lauzon. Did I pronounce that right?
Close enough, close enough. It's Lauzon, but I mean,
Lauzon. Okay. And today we're going to be talking about the courage it takes to open our hearts and to love in this current climate of dating in the world today. And I would like to introduce her by reading off a little bit of a bio, just so you guys know how amazing this beautiful woman is.
Try not to blush.
Mimi Lauzon is a certified professional coach, a certified conscious dating coach, matchmaker, holistic image consultant, and an ordained minister. Mimi has been helping high-achieving singles find love since 2013, and she is honored to have helped thousands of people deepen their connection to themselves, to achieve their dreams, and to find lasting love with compatible partners. A little bit of a background: Mimi struggled with abandonment, wound, daddy issues, me too, her whole life, and that affected her relationships, leading to divorce. From then, she committed to healing through years of personal development. She realized this was her mess to ministry, and led her to her purpose of being a life coach, conscious dating coach, holistic image consultant, matchmaker for the past 10 years. Then COVID hit and a whole new journey began, and her spiritual awakening shifted everything. She lost all of her clientele, so she sold everything and moved to the south of France and then Costa Rica. But then her old wounds created this battle within her spirit, and she had to come home. Things got really dark at times, so she needed new tools to work through things, but this time with God's help. And now she is merging her conscious life training with a more faith-based balance. I personally know Mimi from a couple of years ago. Well, actually, we go way back, but I actually received some coaching from Mimi back in 2000, I think it was 17. And she's actually had a profound effect on my relationship with myself. And I am so happy to have you here with me today to talk about the courage it takes to love. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome, Mimi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I was so happy when you reached out, because I have been working on my new program, but just not ready. And so when you reached out to me and we had the conversation the other day, I just felt so inspired with our conversation. I was like, okay, this is it. It's time to start speaking out on my experience. And I just felt like it was a divine invitation to start kind of opening up about where I'm at. So thank you so much for reaching out to me. And I love what you're doing. And, we do have that connection of working together. So I feel like if anybody's going to be able to connect with me on this topic, it's going to be you.
Absolutely. And I really feel like, not only because it's relevant in my life, but I think that divine dating right now it's almost like a hot topic for everybody because of the state of the world and everything going on right now. Can you just briefly describe the difference between a dating coach and a relationship coach, in case it's not obvious to some people that are watching?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I first started dating coaching, I called myself a relationship coach because essentially it is coaching you to deepen your relationship with yourself, to help you with your relationships with others, and to prepare yourself for your future relationship. So, I mean, a dating coach is essentially a relationship coach, but when I first started out, people thought I was coaching couples. And I'm like, no, 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 that is a whole other ball game, and it's a whole other skill set. And I don't work with couples. I'm more of the expert in helping singles kind of take them on the journey to help them find their lasting relationship. And so yeah, so that's the main difference between the two.
Right. Right. Okay. Now I want to start getting into a little bit of this idea of finding the one, finding the love of your life. So what is your perspective and your take on this concept of like twin flames, soulmates, karmic relationships? From your experience, and I know that you have a lot of experience with relationships and attracting the love of your life or the one or whatever, what is your take on this?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked me this question because it has literally been like my focus for the last 2 years. Like, what is a soulmate and what is a spirit mate? And like, you know, I've been really digging into this topic. And I believe that all of the people that have been significant in our lives do pose as a soulmate, right? Because you kind of change after every relationship, every deep experience, right? You do change and you evolve. But first, I guess I'll have to go into kind of the 3 levels of being, right? So we are a spirit. At the core of who we are born perfect. Like, we are a spirit. We have a soul. Our soul is our mind and our heart. It's our experiences. It's our life. It's what makes us completely unique to anybody in the world. And then we have a body, right? And so I think what the world kind of talks about a soulmate, they make it like the highest partnership, right? And that's what I used to believe as well. Like, oh, I'm looking for my soulmate. But that is very limited because, you know, it can only go so far. And a soulmate would be like someone who you meet and you're got an instant connection. There's like lots of chemistry. It feels like home. You feel like you've known them for a really long time. You have similar backgrounds, maybe you have a lot in common, similar interests, similar goals. It just all feels right, but it can only go so far. And a lot of those tend to fizzle out because you don't have the spiritual foundation to back it up. Right. And so that's why in this last couple of years, my path has been a real spiritual, like my spirit is pulling and pulling on me, and my ego is battling, and it's been this like push and pull. And so I've just kind of been at this point where I'm just surrendering and really focusing on my spiritual life. So a spirit mate is someone who is part of your future, part of your purpose. And it might not be someone that you have that visceral connection with right away. You know, you might not be like compelled and like obsessed with them and like totally excited right away, right? You might not recognize them. And I have stories of people that, you know, have gone through this and they're like, oh, I had no idea this is what it's supposed to be like. Because soulmates a lot of the times are like a trauma bonding. Because how do we develop who we're attracted to, right? Is it our parents and their relationships? Is it society? Is it Hollywood? Is it Disney? You know, like, is it porn? Like, there's all these different ways in which we develop what we're attracted to, but a lot of the times it does tend to start with a wound. And so then we have these trauma bonds, right? Which are beneficial because they're meant to break us open and to challenge us and hopefully lead us to a spiritual connection to God, right? So that is really the lesson in the soulmate, is to push you towards God, to your creator, to source, whatever you want to call it, right? And so a spirit mate is one that is written in your life story. It's like destiny DNA. It's ingrained within you. It's who you're meant to be with. It's God's selected partner for you. But you can only get to that point when you're in connection with God and in relationship with God.
Right. Wow. I personally feel like all of the relationships in my life, they have they've not only taught me what I am looking for, what I am attracted to, but also the things that I want to kind of stay away from. But every relationship that I've been in my life has taught me some profound lesson that has either redirected me back onto my path, or it has brought up, like you said, a trauma from my past, which I then have to heal and I have to process and I have to learn how to let go of, so that I could move forward more empowered. So some of the most heartbreaking experiences that I've had in my life, I actually believe were divine. And
100%.
yeah, and they have empowered me and realigned me on my path and my purpose with my soul guidance, exactly like you just said. So now I want to talk a little bit about the current state of the world with this pandemic and how there has been a segregation of society, because I'm in the dating world right now. And before the pandemic, I always thought, oh, I'm looking for a unicorn. I'm looking for somebody like me. But now I'm looking for a unicorn, like a needle in a haystack. Like the possibilities, even though they are narrowing themselves, I also believe that is divine, because it's kind of leading us more towards our soul, family, and we're getting very, very specific, we're tuning in to a very small percentage of people that are in alignment with our path and our purpose. So the possibilities are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Do you believe that this is all a part of divine dating? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that we are exactly where we are meant to be at this point. Like, we're alive right now on purpose, for a purpose. You're doing this, I'm doing this right now. This is the moment we are meant to be here. And it has been difficult to get to that place for me, because I'm like, why am I here? And why am I going through this? I've gone through like a few breakdowns, I'll admit to that. And it's been really rough, dealing with what's going on. And I think it'd be crazy to think that like we're like going to be totally normal through what's going on right now. So I think that this all serves a purpose, and it has caused a divide, and that's okay, because I mean, every generation has gone through a lot of crap, and this is our stuff that we have to go through right now. But I feel like there is like an underlying purpose to all of this, and it's like birth pains. It's like the last 2 years have been the birth pains for us, preparing for whatever the near future holds, for our purpose, for our divine partnerships, for serving others, right? So these are I feel like it was the birth pains, and we all experienced so much challenge internally and externally. And I think it all serves a purpose. We learn through pain, right? But like, now I'm done learning through pain. I want to learn through love. And I feel like we are transitioning into that. I've been feeling a lot of that. A lot of people in my industry and people that I've been talking to feel the same. Like, there's something great like happening, but we're still kind of on the tail end of that. And everybody's on different, segments of that. But I feel like it all serves a purpose. But what I notice you say is I'm looking for a unicorn. I'm looking for a needle in the haystack. And that visual is, there's like an emotional charge to that. When people say that to me, I'm like, unicorns don't exist. Do you know this? I think that the wording, I think people use this word a lot, and it's like, it is a mythical, right? Okay, yes, but it is a mythical creature. It's in the books. It's a mythical creature, so it doesn't really exist. A needle in the haystack, that just seems so like, I don't know, like it's like, oh, are you ever going to find it? To me, but that's how it is to me. I don't know how it is for you, but when I hear people say that, it almost reveals a bit of a limiting belief that it's going to be so difficult to find that person.
I still do believe that they're out there though. And I believe that they're also looking for me. So
Yes.
I'm not the type of person that says there's no good men out there, that, you know, I'll never find what I'm looking for. I actually believe the opposite, but I'm very specific. I'm not looking for a date. I'm not looking for just anyone. They have to be in alignment with my soul purpose, that like my soul journey, and they have to be somewhat on the same level of emotional intelligence, emotional availability, like they have to kind of be in the same mindset and headspace and heart space as
Mhm.
me. Like
Yeah.
my whole life has been about learning how to do this relationship thing. And I don't know if I told you about the tattoo I have on my side.
No.
Okay, I don't know if I had that done last time we spoke, but it's a tattoo. It's a poem by Rumi, and it says, "Your task is not to seek for love, but to find within yourself all of the barriers you have built
Mhm.
against it."
I love that quote.
Yes, yeah, and this has kind of been my whole life journey and my path and my purpose. Now, for people who have been heartbroken and they have felt that pain. I love how you just said you're done learning from the pain. Now you want to learn from love. And
Yes.
that takes courage, girlfriend. Oh my God, when you've had your heart broken so many times, and you know, it's easy to fall into that pit of despair and hopelessness. And it takes courage to believe that the right man is out there for you and to keep on pushing forward. But what would you say to those who, you know, maybe they've given up? Oh my God, they've given up on the love of their lives. What would you say to those people?
I would say try to remember, like, remember before we all got like hurt a bunch of times, like remember, like go back to that space of remembering before all the shit happened, before all the lies and deceit and cheating and abandonment and rejection and neglect and all of the wounds that we had. Like remember that time where we were just so hopeful and we loved everybody and we hadn't been hurt yet. Like I like to like try and bring myself back to that space, and that there's always that hope there, right? But I think that like prayer is super natural support,
Mhm.
and asking God to heal the parts or reveal the parts that need healing, and to restore the hope and to really connect with God, because in love there is no fear. And when you connect to God, that he removes that fear. When you're in connection with the Holy Spirit, there is no fear. It goes away, like evaporates, which is great. And then we get back into the world and then we get reminded, right? But I was thinking about this a little while ago and how we did the West Coast Trail together.
Yeah.
And could you imagine if we were doing the West Coast Trail and like you broke your leg hiking? Like, what would we do? What would we do if you broke your leg? We would have to like call in
A helicopter or
rescue,
something. Yeah.
helicopter out. They would take you to the hospital. You'd have to get x-rays. They'd give you pain medication. You'd see a professional. They'd tell you, okay, it is broken. Then you'd have to have a cast put on. Then you'd go home and you'd have to rest for a while. And then you'd have to go in for checkups. They'd have to remove the cast. And after that, I don't know, you might have to do like some physiotherapy to like restore the full mobility of your leg. And then once you start to feel ready, then maybe you can resume all of your sports and activities and all that stuff, right? So when we have a broken heart, what are we doing? Everybody's going back online. Oh, I'm going to heal through like being with someone else, or I'm going to bypass the healing process and I'm just going to go out and date and I'm going to look for someone else to make me feel good, even though your heart is broken. Like you need to heal that. You need to, and that's part of the self-love. People talk about self-love and affirmations, and I think it just goes only so far. It's still very surfacey the way that the culture kind of speaks about it. But to have deep healing is not an overnight process. It takes time and it takes investment, and it takes help, going to other people to help you. Like we live in a time where women are so independent and we're just like, I can do it myself. And it's almost like a childlike behavior, like, I want to do it myself. And you don't want to reach out for help. But it's like, we need help. You know, I needed so much help after my divorce. I like did coach training, I did group therapy, I did one-on-one therapy, I did tons of workshops. Like I went on a journey, you know, and it really, really helped me. But again, like there's a ceiling to personal development as well. And then like God is limitless, right? Like God
Right.
can do in a moment what like 10 years of personal development can. So when
Right.
you combine the two, that's really when you can prepare your heart to be in that ultimate relationship. Not
Absolutely.
be in waiting, but to be in preparing.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I have to actually credit you for a large portion of my own spiritual journey in the past couple of years, because I did receive some coaching from you. I think it was in 2017. And one of the very first things, one of the very first exercises that you had me do was to sit there and write out 100 things that I loved about myself. And when you first gave me that assignment, I'm like, okay, I can write out 100 things, no problem. And when I sat, I started off by writing, well, I'm going to write down 1 to 100. So I wrote down 1 to 100, and then I went back to 1, and I'm like, okay, 100 things I love about myself. Right. And then I don't even remember what I wrote, but the first 1, 2, 3 things were really difficult. Things that I actually loved about me, not things I owned, not like titles or anything, but things that I loved about me. And I didn't even get to 10 before I broke down in tears. And yeah, I really started to see that I don't even love myself. And in order to push through, I don't know if I told you about this struggle, but that list of 100 things was really difficult for me. And in order for me to push through that, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to start writing down things that I want to love about myself. And I didn't write it down like I wanted to love them about myself. I wrote it down like, okay, I love this about myself. And it was such a profound list of things that I wanted to start working on. And things that I wanted to start improving about myself. This is personal growth, right?
Wow.
And since 2016, 2017, I have completely reinvented myself like the Phoenix Rising. And I have to credit you for that exercise that was so difficult for me. And I just want you to talk about a little bit more about the importance of finding that self-love and that self-worth. Because if we don't value ourselves, how in the world is anybody else supposed to?
Yeah, I want to first say that like you don't have to fully love yourself in order to find love. I think you are worthy at any point of your life, right? So self-love is important, but it's not the barrier of like, I have to fully love myself in order to find someone, because I've seen people find love at every part. Like I've known people that were depressed and found their partner. I've worked with people from all different walks of life at different parts of their journey, and they can find love. So that's not the barrier. So I want to start off with that point. But I think all of life is a self-discovery and a self-love journey. The problem is that today, I think that people are basing their self-love and their self-worth through societal views. And so if you're building, and I think, and that's normal, right? You grow up and you kind of like pick things up of what you like, and you build your identity through friendships, through society, through music, through whatever, right? So you're like taking all these little puzzle pieces from the world to create this landscape of who you think you are. But it's all very shaky, right? And so it's very difficult to maintain a sense of self when these things are not permanent. It's not a good foundation. Your looks, your personality traits, like all these things aren't who you are at the core, right? And they can change, and they do change as we grow and as we go through experiences. And so we're always having to go back to who we are at the core, and that's the spiritual aspect. And that is really where the true self-love is, because that's where your true identity is. It's not in the world. And having God reveal to you your worth is the most important foundation, because everything else is like building a house on sand. It's constantly changing. Our looks will change, our personality was changed. We're constantly evolving. And so if we base our self-love on things that are not foundational, I mean, it's a losing game. So being able to take that on as a practice, like a daily practice of, and that's why, you know, having that prayer life and that connection to God, that spiritual life. That's why after 10 years of personal development, I've come back to my Christianity and my faith, because I had a life-changing experience when I was 15 years old, where God really, really saved me and revealed himself to me in very real ways. And it changed my life from one day to the next. And I was in my faith for many, many years. And then I started kind of integrating things. Oh, it's like, I can do this, I can drink, I can, you know, I was very young. And so I started reintegrating things into my life that weren't healthy. And then I just went off path for a really long time. And then it was my divorce that brought me back to being like, okay, clearly I've got some issues I got to deal with. And I went on the personal development journey, and it was massively helpful. But at the end of the day, like it's taken me way too long, but I mean, timing is perfect, divine timing. But coming back to my connection to God, that is really like now marrying everything. It's the best gift. And sometimes it does take those challenging times in order for us to like be like, okay, nothing else is working. Okay, God, I need you. and that I'm super grateful for.
Yeah, I do believe that we're all forged by the fire, and it's our difficult challenges in life that make us who we are. Yeah, but I also remember at that time when I received that coaching from you, it was a very low point in my life, and I felt like I was a little bit destroyed, like I was rock bottom in my own self-worth and how I felt about myself. So that was a really empowering exercise, and it's actually helped to rebuild who I am. And once I'm confident and I feel good about myself, and you know, I'm exuding this certain passion for life and this energy, I do believe I'm going to attract somebody that resonates with that energy that I'm exuding. So
Absolutely.
all of that has to do with how I feel about myself. If I
That's the massive
feel,
part. Yeah.
if I don't feel good about myself, if I feel like I don't have any value or anything to bring to the table, what am I attracting to me? I'm definitely not attracting somebody that knows my worth, because I didn't even know my worth at the time.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doing that practice in order to get to a positive energetic space, super important. But I think that unconditional love doesn't require you to do anything. Right. Like, so it's a balance of like, yes, I'm going to do this for myself, and I want to feel good, and asking God's guidance to get that support of what you need to do in order, you know, like whatever your practice is, whatever, like everybody's got their different rituals that they need to do, but it's not a requirement. Like if you don't do this, you're not going to attract love. If you don't do this, right? Like I think that can sometimes make people feel like they're never good enough, or they have to do more, or, oh, if I just do this one course, or if I do, like, it's that's not a good energy to be in either. Right.
No, I totally agree with you.
Being in that sacred space of when you're single, even when you're in a relationship, of having that practice with yourself, with your creator, and asking him what you need to do, you know, whether it's books, whether it's just being for a while, like whether it's, you know, joining a sisterhood, whether it's getting a coach, whether it's getting therapy, like to just be doing things that are going to help you to heal, help you to feel good about yourself. I mean, that's you are going to be in this body, you are your longest relationship on earth, so you might as well be pouring into yourself, because the world has a tendency to just puncture us, and we're leaking out our light and our hope and our goodness and our faith. And so we need to be pouring back in so many different ways, and it's different for everybody. So that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And for somebody that just, I'm thinking about my viewers right now, for somebody that is, you know, they've had their heart broken, maybe they're a little bit timid, maybe they're going within and maybe they find they're being guided, maybe for some relationship coaching. What would that look like? Like, how would they, what does a relationship coaching look like with you?
Well,
Or
I think
dating
that
coaching?
I think that if you are called to get some coaching, to talk to a few people, reach out, like that. The desire in your heart is not by accident. God has placed it there. It's part of your journey. So I'm the type of person that, like, if I get called to do something, I go investigate, because that's God's like nudge, right? God doesn't just like always come in from the cloud and be like, you need to do this. It's like those little nudges are like God encouraging you, right? So if you have that calling, to do something, call a few people, do a few discovery calls with a few different coaches, like start investigating, and your body will respond, your spirit will respond with what is right for you at that time. And so reach out, have a conversation. It has to feel right for both people. That would be like a breakthrough call, a discovery call, which is usually about an hour or half an hour with someone, and then pray on it and see which path would serve you best at where you are in your life. Because I can't help everybody. I can only help people that are a few steps back from me. And then, we're all meant to like kind of help each other just a few steps forward, right? So I would say investigate. I always think books are amazing, but I think that books don't challenge you like having someone ask the questions that you might not be ready to ask yourself, or maybe be a mirror for something that you didn't see about yourself. So working with someone will always help you further along faster, and it will be more powerful to work with someone than a book. But I love books. I'm like a total book nerd. But I highly I'm like a total book nerd, and so I love books, but I highly encourage people to work with a professional, someone that they really connect with where they're at, like the content and what the person is specifically teaching and guiding is where you're at, and that connects, then it's perfect, right? So you just have to find the right mentor to help you at where you are right now, and your body will respond, your spirit will respond, you'll know, and and invest in it, because I think that like sometimes people don't invest in that area of their life, and it's like the most important area of your life, but it's like, oh, I just want it to happen magically and I don't want to spend money on it. It's like, how much did you pay for those shoes? How much did you pay for your last vacation? How much did you pay for your education? Like people invest in what matters to them. So if you're not willing to invest in having a great relationship and growing and healing and all that stuff, then it might not be that important to you, right?
I completely agree with you. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been fortunate enough to be able to invest in all of the areas that interest me with anything that I've been led to with my own divine guidance. I've had, obviously, I was a stunt woman for 20 years in TV and film. So I had acting coaches, I had fitness coaches, I had sports coaches. I've also had confidence coaches. I've had finance coaches, marketing coaches, business coaches. I've had a relationship coach. I've had dating coaches. I've had matchmakers. Anytime that I am passionately and purposefully moving in any sort of direction, I'm willing to invest and connect with experts in that area that I resonate with, because I didn't go to school for any of those things. I don't have the experiences that they have, and the lessons that they have to offer. So I could either take the long way around and learn all of those difficult lessons myself, or I can
And you might keep repeating them. You might never learn the lesson.
That's right. Or I can invest in some coaching by people who have already learned those lessons and they have those lessons to share, which cuts a lot of time out of the equation. I think it's 100% worth it if you're interested in anything. And, you know, for a lot of people watching this video right now, this might be a sign. If this resonates with you, this might be a sign that maybe you need a relationship coach or a dating coach. If you want to progress in any area of your life, it is worth investing in the people who already have the information and the knowledge and the wisdom to share with you, just to give you a little bit of a boost in the direction of your own dreams and your own goals and your own soul guidance. If you're being directed in this area, you definitely want somebody that can help you move there a little bit faster if you're willing to invest in it. I definitely think that is.
I am sorry to cut you off. I just was like thinking about this. I wrote this down earlier today when I was journaling, and it's relevant to what we're saying right now. It says, you will not prepare for what you do not believe is going to happen.
Right. Oh, that's one of my favorite sayings too. Well,
right?
not that saying, but you have to believe that you deserve all you desire. If you don't believe you deserve it, then you're not going to attract it into your life because you don't think you deserve it. And that could be a self-limiting belief, but also that could be something that's actually holding you back from accomplishing your dreams and your goals. If you don't
100%
that you deserve
and
it.
like, where is belief coming from, right? It's like belief is just one level. Belief is usually associated to the emotional aspects of our being, right? And that's something that's even deeper. So just because you believe it, you might have an embedded deeper emotional charge that you don't actually feel worthy. So you might believe you there's a guy for you out there, but you don't believe in a physical sense that you're worthy. And so that conflicting belief and emotional, like the head belief and then the physical belief, the emotional belief is separated. And so if they're not connected, then it's really going to cause inner conflict, and it's not going to get you what you're actually really wanting and needing. So
100%. And for anybody that resonates with everything that Mimi just said, I think you need a relationship coach. Because the relationship coach is going to help you discover these underlying self-limiting beliefs that are preventing you from moving forward and preventing you from attracting into your life the things that you think you believe you deserve, but there's something an underlying blockage. And this is what I think a relationship coach can really help you with, to discover the things that are unconscious that you're not even aware of. So yeah, very, very powerful.
Everybody needs a relationship coach, in my opinion. I mean, I need a relationship coach. I mean, it doesn't really end, you know, it's always more to learn. So the world would be a much better place if everybody got relationship coaching.
Hey, I'm a courage coach. I teach people how to be brave. Like, I think that everybody needs coaches in different areas in their life, especially if they're living in fear unconsciously. Like they're letting fear affect every area of their life. They need to learn how to develop a courageous mindset. So that's what this entire video series is all about. Lady Braven of the Pride, we have courageous conversations and we talk about overcoming fears, facing our fears. And I think that developing the courage to open your heart is really, really important. And because, I mean, I know just as much as anybody else, heartbreak is really painful. But I always say there is a purpose to the pain. There is so much that you can learn from facing that pain, expressing it, just processing those emotions. There's so much to learn. And I'm really grateful for the coaching that I received from you way back when, and I'm really happy to connect with you again. If anybody does want to connect with you, how would they do that right now?
Well, I'm still working on my program that's going to be launching hopefully in the next couple of months. So right now my website is currently under construction. So people can reach out to me through my social media channels. On Instagram, Mimi Lauzon, and Facebook, Mimi Lauzon, 𝐦𝐸𝐤𝐿𝐿. So just reach out to me on my social media feeds. I also have a Facebook group called Divine Dating that you can join. And so I'm going to be kind of resurrecting that pretty soon as well. But right now, that's pretty much the only way. And then we can set up a time to chat and see if I can help you.
Right. And I'm going to put all of those links in the description of this video for anybody that wants to connect with Mimi and start developing the courage to love again.
Amazing. I love that. That's such a great goal.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's so nice to have this chat with you. And is there anything else that you would like to say to any of the viewers about overcoming the fear to love?
Yeah, I mean, I thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to connect with you. I love to talk about love. I mean, it's the best thing that life has to experience, I think, is love. And it's tragic that it creates so much pain along the way, but I think that we are all deserving of it. We're all worthy of it, and God wants you to be loved unconditionally and be married more than you do. And so please just never give up on that just because you failed. Like, just ask for that divine support to just try one more time, and this time with God.
Right. Love that. Thank you very much. That's such a powerful message. Yes. Everybody, please find Mimi on her Divine Dating and Facebook and Instagram. I'll put all of the links below. Please like this video and share it with a friend that is going through a difficult time, maybe feeling a little bit low in the dating arena, or feeling a little bit shy of opening their hearts. Anybody that might even need a little bit of relationship coaching, which we've already said everybody does. So share it with a friend. Everybody, please share this video with a friend. And also subscribe to Lady Braven of the Pride, because we have these courageous conversations every day. And as we all know, courage is contagious. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.